where people need to understand the importance of all those other systems if they want the movement to happen right. If they're looking at the pain in the body, pain is communication. Pain is speaking from one brain to the next. It's telling you, Lance, something's up. I need you to pay attention.
The gas light's on, the engine light's on, the brake light's on. Yeah.
And I always kind of run this analogy. I'm like, if someone came up to you, and I'm going to assume you don't speak Mandarin.
Yeah.
They're yelling at you in Mandarin. You know they're upset. You don't know what's going on, but you're going to try to make the best of the situation. Now, this is like the body. It's yelling at you, and it's doing it in the form of pain. Yeah. Well, you don't fix the issue, even if you tried, it's going to do the next step, which is to increase the volume at which it's talking to you. It's going to yell a little louder, so it's going to make the pain a little worse. Next step after that, it's going to shut the area off. How many old people we know that can't do this?
Yeah.
It's the body saying, I'm not going to let you do it. You're going to tear the shoulder up. And then one thing that frustrates me is a lot of times in physical therapy, one of the first movements that they have them do is they latch up the arm and they do the frozen shoulder workouts. Walk the wall. They're forcing the arm into a position that the body's preventing. So what's going to happen then? The body shut it off for a reason.
Yeah. Break.
It tears it up even worse. Yeah. It gets even worse and worse. And next thing you know, we're in a debilitating state where, it's just where you are and we can't do anything about it.
It's like we're not listening to the language. We're not listening to the noise that the body is making. And, it kind of, you ever seen Rush Hour? When he's like, do you not understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? That's what it's like for me, like when I hear people say that.
Yeah, and it's a lot of, the industry is filled with people who are very good at biomechanics. Right thing.
Wrong time.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's everywhere though. That's just not exercise science. That's health, diet. That's every single industry. So
yeah, I mean it's why
we just
Ozempic is such a thing.
Yeah, we just give a bunch of people, and I tell people this all the time. We give a bunch of people information, but don't know how to implement it or process it and put it in this proper perspective. It's like, remember when you were a child, they would give us like this rectangular prism, and it would be like a triangle cut out, a circle cut out, and a rectangle cut out. And then as a child, you would try to put it in a triangle, it wouldn't work. In the circle, it wouldn't work. But then it worked, right? It's like we have a bunch of different pieces with the cutouts, but we're like, yeah, but let me try to put it in that one.
Yeah.
We're like, listen, if it's a triangular prism, it's a triangle. If it's a pyramid, it's a rectangle, right? If it's a ball, then if it's a cube, it's a square, right?
Yeah, and then somewhere along the way, we stopped letting people go through that process and teaching them, hey, look at it. It makes sense if you do it like this. We started jumping to these results. These, oh, no, I can get this to happen this way. And it's a mirroring the journey that you went through, that you are currently going through.
Yeah.
Is we noticed that a long time ago, we were very holistic in the way we healed our body, right? We went to shamans, we went to the medicine man, and we went to the guy in the mountain, And all of a sudden, at some point, those guys got looked at as like the weirdos. And we started going to this doctor who says, no, but if we do this and this and this, we'll fix it.
Around when things became petroleum based? Was it around that time?
That, okay, around the industrial age.
Yeah. So I'm going to back off that. I'm just going to touch on it and back off. All right.
So we started going that, but now what we're seeing is this renaissance period of no. I want to kind of go back to what we were doing before. How are we taking care of our mental health and our stressors in life that is showing me that my body's broken, that's doing this, but then I'm eating these foods that are not agreeing with my system, even though they're considered healthy foods, but I don't want to dive any deeper to that. So it becomes this whole thing where I'm almost happy that I'm seeing this, these medicine men, these shamans, these weirdos in the mountains are now who everyone is going back to and getting results. And the sitting industry is trying to fight it hard. So, Peter Attia, his book is a beautiful book because he came from that industry. He says, medicine the way we know it now is great if I am dying right now.
Yeah, acute.
But it is absolutely garbage.
For chronic
issues or preventative care.
Oh my God. I love Peter Attia, by the way. He's a fucking monster.
And it's great that I've been able to loosely work with him with some of his clients on testing and protocols. Yeah. That being able to work with someone so influential, so educated, and on the same path. And it's been one of the things that I've loved is that we need more people that have the the cachet to sway the audience at a larger scale.
Yeah.
Tell people that, look, my doctor is 80 years old, about 100 pounds overweight. If I were to look at him, he looks like absolute dog shit. How is he telling me about my health? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's you look like you're a double cheeseburger away from a heart attack, and you're telling me I need to change my diet. No, you know what? I want to talk to the person who, you know, and I spoke to you personally about this. I'd love to dive more into plant-based dieting.
Yeah.
Because I don't know too much about it. And I dabble a little bit, but then I'm kind of all over. I'd love to learn more, right? Yeah. I want to go to someone who lives it.
Yeah.
Who can show you, hey, this is what's actually happening. This is how I healed myself. And a lot of the mentors that I follow are people who've done the same exact thing. This is how I've healed myself from XY issue.
It's called, the book is called The Last Man in Babylon, The Last Man in Babylon or something.
Okay.
I think that's what the book, I'll find it out and post it. But it talks about, you know, only take advice from people that have the results that you want, essentially. Right.
And I will, and when it comes to the physical exercise realm, I'll give a little bit of a leeway on some of these things because some of the best Olympic lifting coaches I've ever met are older, fatter men. They're so good at it.
They don't give a damn no more.
But they're past that. But then, you know, and they go and lift at 80 years old, they're out deadlifting 300 some pounds and be like, okay.
They're like Thor in the end game.
Yeah. It's like, I got it. I know I got it. I don't need to look. But for most aspects, yes, I'm going to 100% buy into that philosophy because there is no amount of someone who's broke telling you how to make money.
Yeah.
Someone who's fat and out of shape, how to exercise. Right? So there's, in the nutrition aspect, there is the famous quote of, let thy food be thy medicine and thy medicine be thy food.
And that's by Hippocrates.
The father of modern medicine.
And everybody takes the Hippocratic oath, every physician.
Yeah.
All right? But they don't practice all of the things that he...
And there's another quote, and I'm going to loosely translate this. But it's, no man or woman reserves the right to go through life without exploring the capabilities of their body.
Yes.
So loosely based to that degree, yes, push yourself to see what you're physically capable of doing. Because in that process, you're going to find a lot about yourself. You're going to also be someone who can help others. Because, hey, you know, someone might not be an exercise phys major or a great trainer, but maybe it's like, hey, you know what, I did these things and this really worked for me. Try it. And these are these aspects. And a lot of the things when it comes to biomechanics, that's kind of where people stop. So, you know, no one's going to teach me how to exercise any better. I know how to do it. I just got to either do it, or maybe I need to look at my lymphatic system or my eyes or my gut health.
Yeah. It's the thing where we talk about the genetic. Some people say, oh, you know, you're just genetically gifted. And it's like, I reach my genetic capacity, right? Like I'm higher up on that spectrum of genetics, or where I'm at the base or the capacity. Like I'm up there. Like I've been training for a long ass time, right? Yeah. Where I can activate it, but you know, it's like, but why? Like, am I going to get paid for it? Like,
I say a lot of the lifters, I'm like, are you competing? Like, but yes, like they say you're genetically gifted. No, you're just actually able to achieve your genetic potential. Yeah. Yeah. Are you going to be 6'4", 230 pounds, bodybuilder shape year round, 40-year introvert? I'm like, no, not everyone's going to be this way. You're going to be built different, look different, but without you ever exploring your capabilities. And I think societally speaking, we got into a point where we just allow people to do what they want and say, good job. And I don't subscribe to that kind of stuff.
That's what is it? What is it called? Participation awards. Yeah. We're not on meritocracy anymore. It's not about who wins. It's the fact that you just fought. Like it's like, no, I want to win.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to obliviate.
And to this day, I remember 9th grade for basketball, end of the year, all the awards I didn't get anything. I got no award. Yeah. I did not want one. I felt like garbage not getting one. So then I went to the drawing board and I started trying a little harder. I started doing new things. But that's what drives society in the world, is that this striving for more and for better and excellence. Too many people are reserved to just kind of like, feel sorry for me, love me anyways.
It's okay.
I'm like, I don't have to, no.
But I tell you what, nothing in life comes out of, like you say, if it's easily attained, it's not respected. Yeah. So why wouldn't I want to put myself through something hard or something that no other person has ever like graze the surface of, right?
Yeah.
And no, I love the fact that you were able to come in and talk about this stuff because, there's just some things that needs to be said and some things that need to be questioned. It's not saying that we're against anyone or anything, but these are things that needs to be questioned and taken in consideration because we can just keep going in the wrong direction. We can go a long way in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a hard time for everybody, right?
And every time I speak on this stuff, I never speak about the practitioner.
Yep.
I speak about the industry.
There
the
you go.
System.
The system.
The system is built for people to learn a particular way, to then apply their knowledge a particular way.
Yep.
And unless there are people willing to revolutionize the sport or willing to be these outcasts and be thought of as like lunatics and just charlatans and scamming people left and right. And I've been called a scammer, But unless there's people willing to do these things, there is no progress in that field. And we're going to continue to go the same way. And everyone can go to their grandparents' medicine cabinet and just see it full. And their grandparents never getting any better, never making any progress, and they're almost waiting it out.
Yeah. But they will call you a grifter, but won't call that system a grifting system.
Yeah.
Right.
And a lot of the medical industry is dictated by the insurance companies. And of course, you see the powers that be, the powers that want to stay things the way they are because they maintain the control.
Yeah. Imagine trying to tell a drug dealer, hey, you can't make no more money on this block.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but I'm a multi-trillion-dollar industry. You can't, what?
Yeah, you're not going to disrupt my thing.
Did you ever exist?
Yeah. So
did you have a social security?
Yeah. So what they will do is and a lot of times when it comes to these the powerhouses at play, is they will try to discredit you.
Of course.
From this perspective of authority. Well, do you have a doctorate? Do you have a PhD to lecture anybody about this? Mm-hmm. Sometimes all you need is life experience. Yeah. Sometimes you just need to know, hey, this is the path I went on, and when I did this, this, and this, all of a sudden this helped out, and then I helped somebody else do it. And now I have all this anecdotal evidence that shows it. Yeah. So when I talk to some athletes and they don't want to buy in, I show them the eye stuff, and they're like, oh, okay, and then I'll work on some things. Yeah. And then I have their doctors or their trainers say I'm full of it. And I'm like, I can't keep replicating something and it be nothing. Yeah. Maybe you don't agree with it, whatever, but it can't be nothing.
Science lags. Science lags behind. Science is a behind the eight ball. It's not ahead. It's
so one of the things that I always hear about is it's called magic until science figures out how it works. And I've told you, I've had guys on the table, and they get off the table and said, I just did voodoo. And I laughed.
Black magic.
Yeah.
Black magic.
One called his mom.
Yeah.
And it's funny to hear.
Probably cried or some shit.
They get a little freaked out about it sometimes. Or some of them get really mad because they're giant men. They're 6'5", almost 400 pounds. Their job is to be a lineman, not get turned. And you see some of the people I've seen, 5'7", 180 pounds, 175 pound people, just turn them.
Put them down.
Because they were looking to the right and they go, no, try it again. And they get mad. And then they say, this is just nonsense or it's voodoo. And they say all these things because it can't be explained yet. Yeah. But I'm doing it. It works. I'm going to continue to do it. And if I find something new and I can refine it even more, I continue down that path. Mm-hmm. But I think the industry is really set on not losing its grip.
Of course. Like, who's going to come to you and be like, hey, listen, we have, the society holds us to this regard. We're almost godlike, right? With these godlike complexes. And we're meant to make you healthy. We're the symbol of health. Mm-hmm. So come to us for everything. But I only know a little bit about food and nutrition. Yeah. But you should still come to me for everything. Yeah. But they'll never mention that. They'll never mention their shortcomings and say, hey, listen, we're just not good at that. We're just reactive medicine. We're not proactive.
They won't outsource anything.
That's crazy. That's wild.
A lot of it comes. So the biggest one that I deal with a lot is with physical therapy clients, potential physical therapy clients. Mm-hmm. And we talk about them and we find out their pain is chronic by nature. Anybody who's in my realm, and even physical therapy, chronic pain is not fixed through physical therapy. It's a biomechanic approach. Yeah. Acute injury, post-surgery, that's where physical therapy works. So then we go, hey, you know what? I want to do a DEXA scan. I want to find out, do you have more muscle in one leg versus the other? Are you imbalanced that way that you're favoring a side and that's why it's hurting? Insurance will be like, no, that's fringe medicine. That's not going to prove anything. And I'm like, well, you know what? I've seen some athletes with a 3-pound difference between their legs. Neurologically speaking, that should not happen.
That should not happen.
right?
Something's going on in the body where something's compensating for something else.
And then what happens is all the time we tell them is like, oh, this leg has more muscle, but this is the one that hurts. And I'm like, wonder why? It's taking on the load. So why did our body go this route? So now maybe I can fix what's going on, but you'll have the insurance company and everyone is so ready to use their insurance and say, no, well, I have insurance. Why would I pay out of pocket? Couple factors go into that.
Insurance don't cover that. Yeah.
Insurance doesn't cover it. If they do cover it, they're going to tell me exactly what protocols I'm allowed to use, or they won't pay me. So it becomes very hard. So you're seeing a lot of good physical therapists stop taking insurance. And that's usually my measure.
Because they get in the way.
Boom, if they pay me cash, and I'll work on the things the way that I feel is necessary.
You're dealing with egos at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, science is almost, it's funny because I started sunbathing. And with sickle cell, the majority of my issues went away. Like they just went away.
Imagine that.
And, a few years after that, I saw some study by something, and they were like, well, scientists found out that walking barefoot naked in the sun makes you healthier. I'm like, what? So those Africans in those tribes that you guys were laughing at before,
We call them uncivilized.
uncivilized, right? So what's really civilized and uncivilized at this point?
Yeah.
Right?
And it is really amazing that a lot of the directive that you get is counterintuitive. And then just for years later to be like, oh, you know what? We found out this. So we go through this whole thing about sunscreen.
Oh my God. Don't get me started on
So
that.
you're talking about the sunbathing.
Don't
I'm
get
like,
me started on that.
So up until the invention of sunscreen, like, did people just start dying left and right of melanoma and skin cancer and all these things? Were we just like, no, like we needed this intervention to save humanity.
There was an ozone tear or something in the 90s.
Yeah.
You remember that? What happened to that? What happened to the ozone tear?
What happened to the hole? Did we patch it?
Yeah. What?
Was one of the Elon's rockets that went up there and fixed it? Because now we don't talk about it anymore.
Was it like the Truman Show and the thing?
Yeah.
Where
Also, we'll take the boat out there and we'll just hit that wall.
Just take the boat, right?
So we go out there and I'm like, evolutionarily speaking, we've been in the sun. Why is it now that the sun is bad? Like the reason that there's different skin colors and variants is because of how north or south we became and close to the poles.
The
how much sunlight
pheomelanin.
we had access to.
The pheomelanin and eumelanin.
Yeah.
And all that, yeah.
And we look at these things, we're like, okay, well, now they're trying to say it's like, oh, go check on your conspiracy theorist because apparently he's been right. And we start talking about these things, we're like, go out in the sun, put your bare feet on the ground. We're insulated from birth.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, one of the neighborhoods I lived in was a fairly clean neighborhood. So I would walk in my neighborhood, I'd walk my dog without my shoes.
Yep.
Just touch the earth.
Yeah.
How come we always feel better when we go to some tropical resort and we get on vacation?
Yeah.
And we come back, we're like, oh my God, it feels so good. Yeah. And then we come back to work and we start to feel like shit again.
Yeah.
Well, we got away from the sunlight. We got away from nature, the water,
Can I tell you my take on that? So most medications are photosensitive or they create photoallergens.
Yeah.
So if you're on, let's say penicillin or ibuprofen or let's say Advil or Aleve, you'll burn in the sun. It'll give you hives. It says on the back, don't go into the sun. So a lot of people are medicated. So that's why they're telling you that about the sun, because once again, you cannot tell a drug dealer to get off a block that they've dominated forever and they've made trillions of dollars and they're the biggest industry almost in the world. Yeah. You can't tell them to stop pushing their stuff. So what they're going to say, oh, that thing God created, that's the bad thing.
You know what's funny too is I've seen people with certain autoimmune disorders. Let's say lupus. They're told, hey, you need to be careful with the sunlight. But then what medication, what vitamin supplement do they give them?
Vitamin D.
And they give them huge amounts.
20,000 IUs.
So here's where I did my dive in when it comes to the supplementation with vitamin D.
Yeah.
At one point, for I think about 8 months, I was taking 50,000 daily. Just taking
50,000 IU international units?
Yeah.
Wow.
And everyone says this, and I go, look, as far as I've read, there's only one negative side effect that's been recorded.
Elevated cholesterol or something like that. Or?
He had kidney stones.
Oh, okay.
But his level was a 250, which is a high number. I was taking 50,000 for about 8 months, and my number only hit 97, which is still under the threshold. For 8 months, I took it. I'm like, so you can't, you don't have to make people feel scared about this. But then all of a sudden they go, The best source to get vitamin D would be the sunlight. Now we're going to tell you with an autoimmune disorder, don't do the sunlight, but take the vitamin D, i.e. It doesn't correlate. But then, I get where some of that might come in, where they say, oh, well, you're also on this medication and make you photosensitive.
Can't do it.
Well, how about you get off that medication, get the vitamin D?
The money doesn't get made. So it all circles back to, if you're not sick, the industry doesn't, nothing works. You got to have sick people.
You have to be sick.
People have to be sick for money to get made, right? Like low testosterone levels. The first thing they test for is vitamin D level. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, come on, guys.
But there's a reason why people in the industry on the inside will kind of call it hormone D3 versus vitamin D3.
Yeah, because it controls genes.
It controls gene expression. Yeah. It regulates the hormone level production. This is why I'm such a big proponent about take a lot. You're not probably never going to take too much that you make your body hurt. And there's only been one study that I've seen that showed a negative side effect, and it was a kidney stone. So if we're looking at the grand scheme of things, it's a kidney stone. Like, it's not pleasant, not good, but that's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, rectal bleeding from X medication might be a little worse.
Or just get off the pills and go into the sun for a few minutes, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna get a lady on. Her name's Dr. Alexis. Forget her last name, but she goes into the mitochondria function and ATP production and red light, infrared light, blue light, when to block it out. I'm gonna have her on. She's
Light therapy is a very interesting topic.
Yes. Heliotherapy. That's what Niels Finson, he actually cured lupus in 1905. He has a Nobel Prize for it.
Well, they use blue light to cure jaundice in babies.
Really?
So babies born with jaundice will go into blue light therapy when they're born.
Wow. Didn't know that.
But then we say weird things about, infrared, it doesn't really show and prove anything. And I'm like, light therapy's been around for a long time.
Long time.
And all the different color spectrums vibrate at a particular frequency. And if we get into the holistic health, everything is frequency. You got to be doing vibration, something, right?
Yeah.
So it's very interesting.
Absolutely. Is there any other topic you want to cover before we head out here? Because this has been a great conversation. I can, with you, bro, every time we talk, we go for hours.
Yeah.
My girl calls me. She's like, Lance, where are you at?
Any other topic, if it doesn't feel right, stop doing it. I don't care who tells you what's going on.
Okay.
It's been a big proponent where people say, I want to train like this, or I want to do this, I want to do that. Stop being so idealistic and become more conceptual.
Yeah. Stop being a zealot.
Stop being a zealot, right?
Yeah.
It's CrossFitters, zealots. Powerlifters can be zealots. Bodybuilders can be zealots. We can do this with anything. We got the biggest zealot group I'm seeing out there right now is the carnivore diet people. Look, I'm not for or against any particular diet, but man, you guys need to relax a little bit. It's take the concept, and almost every dietary concept hits the same note. Eat real food. Eat real food. When we lift, make sure it makes sense. There's a lot of athletes I know trying to work out like bodybuilders. Stop doing it. Your sessions don't need to be longer. They need to be more effective. More isn't better. Better is better.
Better is better. Yeah.
So and anything else I'd like to say, if you guys are experiencing chronic pain or anything, hit me up. I've been doing this a while. I can figure it out. And if I can't figure it out, I'll find someone who can. I think that's where a lot of people are missing out on stuff is they don't know how to do it, so they kind of leave you there. Yeah. Or they force you to think that they know how to do it. Yeah.
Because for some reason they think that they lose credibility or merit because they don't know a small aspect. It's like, dude, everyone's they don't know everything in every direction. Like, I prefer to go to a specialist than a general practitioner.
It's one of the things where it comes down to like, look, if I know that there's some psychological stuff going on, I don't touch it. Yeah. I'm not equipped for that. And most of the time we're not close enough for me to try to attempt it. I know people that are very good at it. Yeah. I will refer, if you don't even like them, find your own person. Yeah.
And I would trust someone like you 1,000 times more than I would trust someone who says, no, I know it all. Really? Mm-hmm. Really? Your brain you have that much capacity. So you're God, basically. You're just omnipresent.
So then you know what? When you ask if there's anything else I'd like to harp on, stop calling yourselves an expert, guys. Like, man, there has not been one person that I've seen that said they are an expert on anything that through enough talking you can find out that they're full of it. That they want to have that God complex. They want to have they're the be-all, end-all. There's trainers like that. There's doctors like that. There's, the gurus out there. I'm just someone who started latching onto something, learning some more stuff, trying to really help people. I have a lot to learn.
And the more you learn, the more you're like, dang, there's a lot more. Wow.
The more you learn, the more you know you don't know anything in the grand scheme of it. So yeah, it's be wary of the experts. I'd be very cautious about that.
That'd be it. Definitely. So Cody, listen, thank you for coming. I want you to plug yourself one more time. Well, you didn't plug yourself in the beginning. Let's plug
Not
yourself
too much.
now.
So yeah, Cody Perez. I'm the founder of Revolution Performance. We work on holistic wellness, covering as many aspects as we can, sports performance, and getting rid of that chronic pain. So shoot me a DM, email. I have it all on the site, on the Instagram profile. If I can't fix it, I'll find someone who can for you.
And what is the Instagram?
It is Revolution Performance. So Revolution_Performance.
Let's go.
And look, the journey's there. Let's take it.
Well, that wraps it up. This is another episode of Kaptainplantit Podcast. Thank you for being with us.